Okay, and I hope that as we look at this, you can do a little bit of deconstruction as well. And as you look at this, hopefully you notice that each of these person and numbers, right? So this would be the, don't let this overwhelm me, the present active indicative, first person singular, second person singular, third person singular, first person plural, second person plural, third person plural. Don't let that bother you right now. You can just call it the present tense. Most people do. Okay, but you can see if you look at it that all of these have or umma, which that is what we call your root. Actually, your root is umma, but that's your stem that you build off of. Okay, so umma, so there are two constituent parts: your stem and your person and number ending. So umma plus s, ummas. Umma plus t, ummat. Umma plus mus, amamus. Umma plus tis, amatis. Umma plus nt, ummant. All right. Hopefully that was clear enough. If that's a little bit overwhelming, that's okay. One of the most important things I find with students is that you begin to hear patterns. So here's kind of a silly little exercise that I have my students do. And it's very silly, and those of you who are like good classicists will be very offended. But one of the games I play with my students is we talk about, I always just make jokes about, oh, which comes from the Latin such and such, or which comes from the Greek such and such, or so on and so forth. For example, give you one, procrastinate. I'll say to my students when they get a project, don't procrastinate, which comes from Latin procrastinare, which means to put off till tomorrow. And they're all, you're such a nerd. Okay, but here's what I would encourage you to do as kind of a fun homework, just so you get used to hearing the pattern. It's so helpful to just say ummo, ummas, ummat, amamos, amatis, ummat. And you can get fun and silly with it. For example, I'm looking out the window and I see trees blowing in the wind, or one of my students is a swimmer. So I said to her, next time you're at swim practice, I want you to make swim into a fake Latin verb. So I want you to say swimmo, swimmas, swimmat, swimmamos, swimmatis, swimmant. And you start to just hear and you just start to think, okay, I understand that pattern. You can do it with all kinds of things. If you have a Latin grammar book, or if you have, a couple verbs you'd like to do, I recommend starting with this simple A-class verb, or the first conjugation class. But you can do it with all kinds of things, like sit. I sit in a chair. Yeah, I know the Latin verb is sedeo, but I'm saying if you want to just grab it, so you just go sit. Sito, sita, sitat, sitamos, sitatis, sitant. And you just get used to that normal pattern. That's just how it sounds. It's a very good thing. The other thing that I encourage a student to do, or if you have a Latin teacher, if you have a Latin book in front of you, is to grab a verb. You can grab just a sheet of paper. I love whiteboards, but if you want to, you can just grab a sheet of paper and just scatter all over this sheet of paper various forms of the verb. Okay, trying to just have them kind of out of order. All right, this will work. And then something that I'll do with my students is I'll drill them and just point at forms. Let me grab my beating stick. Given to me one of my students who thought I should be a good classical teacher and hit them. I don't. But anyway, and one thing that I'll do then is say to a student, because I want them to begin to program their mind that NT has information in it, right? That's our third person plural, they. So let's take this whiteboard or a sheet of paper, and you can just point to it. Ummo, I love. You love. They love. Y'all love. Or you all love, right? They love. You love. I love. Y'all love. You love. I love. You love. I love. They love. And you start to train your eye in a very, very important way to look at that information encoded at the end of the word. Okay, and that's a very, very helpful thing to do. It's helpful both for verbs at the most basic level, which that's what this is, but it's also helpful for nouns at the basic level, and it's helpful for verbs even at the most advanced levels, where you're getting into some vowel changes and what that indicates to you, mood change, and ending changes, and tense signs and things like that, okay? So it's a very helpful thing just to start to train your mind to get very quick at identifying those things. All right, I hope that's a helpful introduction to verbs. Be creative. Another thing, I'll just give you one more thing if you wanted to go outside and see if you can have fun with Latin, is to get very, very familiar with the concepts of person and number. So, right, first person, second person, third person, he, she, it, and then plurals, we, you all, and they. And one of the things I encourage my students to do is to take a walk, or again, if you're just going to the mall or whatever it is with your mom or dad, just to walk around and watch what people are doing, watch what's going on. So for example, the wind is blowing this tree outside the window, right? I blow, you blow, the wind blows, we blow, you all blow, they blow. The sun is shining. I shine, you shine, the sun shines, we shine, you all shine, they shine. And just getting used to, even in English, becoming very, very comfortable with that pattern, right? First, second, third person singular, first, second, third person plural. To get very familiar with the linguistic concept, the language concept of person, 1, 2, 3, and number, singular versus plural. All right, hopefully that's some helpful kind of starters. I don't have WeLox in front of me, but that's a good intro for, say, I think it's chapter 2 or chapter 3, where they're really just trying to teach you the verbal system. So it's not just to recommend WeLox. There are a lot of other books that would do it, but that for me is just the way that I would introduce, say, like a 5th grader or a 6th grader to some of these issues for language. I hope that's helpful. And if this is helpful for you all, I can do one on nouns too and some other stuff. But anyway, thank you so much. Bye-bye.